Resolana is what you make it. A few weeks after my mentor, Shirley Romero Otero, got vaccinated, and after a long year of not seeing her, I decided that the next chance I got, I would go up and see her. On that trip, I did a lot of reminiscing through the long highway that takes me from Santa Fe to San Luis, Colorado. When I got to her house, I called her to let her know I was outside, and she met me on her porch, masked, ready to take me inside her house, her first visitor in almost a year, and we sat down once again at her kitchen table. "First things first," she said, as we sat down. "How have you been?" My answer to this question has been the same for years now. I've been working and going to school full-time since 2015, so anything extra doesn't really make it to the list. Even in a pandemic, nothing really changed for me. I worked from home for a time, but nothing exciting happened. Nothing was open. The friends I kept up with regularly were following the stay-at-home order mandates just like I was. We were all collectively scared to do anything. The friends who lived far away video chatted and called, nothing out of the ordinary. And then she asked me, "What have you learned?" And I was stumped. I didn't feel like I had learned anything, especially not anything I could talk to her about. How lonely it has been at times, how hopeless it still feels at times. The strangest things you crave at times, like bumping into drunk people at a concert or kissing strangers. While I have learned all the things I don't like, I think it's also important to put into perspective things I could not live without, and navigating how to get those things while maintaining my safety. I realized there had to be others who grieved for the things we took for granted, others who had learned how to keep community in isolation, and others who, despite feeling hopelessness in their own isolation, who craved to do things differently when it is safe to do so. What do you miss about pre-pandemic life? Live music, gay bars, hugging, traveling, hugging, in-person research, traveling, bars, bowling, golfing, intimacy, roller derby, hugging, concerts, taking my children out to play without worry, seeing my family, going to bookstores, arcade, movies, hugging. How have you kept or built community since the pandemic? Taking classes with professors that make them feel like home, video chatting or calling friends more often, volunteering with community organizations because working from home was hard, trying new things as the state opens back up, checking in more, called family more, not knowing what to do because I moved in a pandemic, watching my children and their grandparents grow, spending as much time as I can with people in my life, like roommates and coworkers, driving by to see family, even if it was just for a few minutes. What are you looking forward to when the pandemic is over? Hugging people, kissing people, less anxiety, healing from our collective trauma, less anxiety, relaxing, having people in my backyard, having people in my home, having my kiddo enjoy their life again, teaching to more than black screens, hugs, more hugs, visiting home, being around family, holding my brand new nephew, that top of the head new baby smell, my oldest child's first year of school, socializing and lip reading, hugs, intimacy, groups of people to hike and picnic with, camping with friends, hugs. So it is here that I am left to ponder what new things we may build, what we may call them, and how we may engage in them to include people who have been living the way we've been living for a year their whole lives. How we might learn from what we've adapted to engage as much as we have been, and to remind and be reminded of the endless amounts of love we find ourselves surrounded by in the endless acts of community care we've experienced. This is what I've learned.